Yep. So thank you. It's really an honor to be in this room, and thank you for the introduction. So I come from a company called Living Institute. What we do is applied diversity intelligence. So let me guide you through some of this. The question was, are we that? And I don't know why I have been given 12 minutes to answer that question. But I tried to kind of elaborate a bit on this, but I could give you a very short answer. My answers would be from a practitioner's point of view. I'm not a politician. I'm not from an organization. I'm not a researcher. I'm not an analyst. I do the work with people. So this is my perspective. So I will share some of the ideas that we talk with our clients on. So very shortly about me, educated as a musician. I started the concert venue in Copenhagen called Vega. I know this picture is some years ago, but it is still me. I've been the director of human resource at Bang & Olufsen. I've done crazy stuff like being nominated to the Index Award for Design for Social Infrastructure. And I'm one of only 10 global master trainers in Lego Serious Play. I can play with Lego. I have an official paper stating that. There's a point to that, and I will get back to this. So, reflecting on this invitation, I started thinking, when did my journey of creating gender balance start? I remember 5 years ago, a client called me and said, can you help us in our journey of creating gender balance? Yes. And she said, there's one condition. You need to send a man. And I was wondering, and I was starting arguing, say, well, our best and most competent consultant is a woman. But she insisted, you need to send a man. So now you got 11 minutes to figure out why she said so. So I was puzzled around this, but this is how it started. Or maybe not, because then I thought, well, maybe it started a lot of years earlier. This is my family. And why put up a family picture in this setting? Well, just to mention what I see here is 2 CEOs and a captain in the Danish army responsible for training the next generation of officers for the Danish army. My youngest daughter, she is responsible for 64 men, and she is the first female team leader ever in Denmark responsible for this training. So I'm kind of pretty proud of this. But we just did this. They just did this. Maybe they were not really aware of the odds they were up against. So let me just see, hands up. How many of you have both a son and a daughter? Hands up. So, several of you. Later, I came across this number, 40 to 1. Those of you that have sons and daughters, your son is 40 times more likely to become a CEO than your daughter. This is research from The Economist. So just reflect for a second. If you look at your son and your daughter, is this the reality? Does this make sense to you? When you look at your children right now, are your son 40 times more competent than your daughter? No. So that maybe answers some of the question, are we there yet? No, probably not. So, one thing I will touch upon that is some of the themes our clients raise with us. And the first one is what we call the business case. And you in this room, you probably know there's a lot of value in working with gender equality, but it's not, not everybody that knows it. I will just share one of the latest study that I've come across that I think was really impressive. It was done by Nordea. I know there might be some in the room today. Thank you for those organizations that have the manpower to do these kind of studies. It is amazing. So, the chief investment officer of Nordea wanted to find out, is it worth investing money in companies that is run by a female CEO or a female chairperson? Is that worth investing in those companies? They looked into 11,000 companies globally, publicly traded companies. They look over an 8 years period of time since 2009. They found out that the female CEOs or female chairpersons, they made a profit return on 25% versus the average 11%. So that was pretty astonishing data to look at this. That's great news. The sad news is that of these 11,000 companies, only 400 of them had a female CEO or a female chairperson. But really, some of the latest data is on this. So we all kind of, we get a lot of data, there's a lot of reports, so I will not go a lot into that anymore. And this is the second topic we meet when we discuss with our clients. We have enough data. We have all the great reports from the great companies. We have all our internal reports. They are kind of stacking up. What should we do? How should we do it? And this bridging the data with the how seems to be a bit difficult, even though these reports have recommendations. But how you do real life, and this is where I come in and we come in to this picture. The second thing, or third thing here, is what I call the Nordic dilemma. Do we have a Nordic dilemma? Every time I get into a workshop, I meet at least these 3 mindsets. Some will say, yes, we are the front runners. We are in the Nordic countries. We are definitely the front runners of this agenda. So, and I will kindly ask these 4 tables here. You are now have this mindset. You are the front runners. So you don't even want to be here because it's done. So in a minute, when I tell you when, I want you to, all of you, cross your arms like that and look like this, okay? These 4 tables. So, and these 8 tables here, you're the ones saying, we are really lagging behind. So you are so eager to hear more. So when I tell you in a minute, you kind of lean forward and smile. You want, okay, understood? And these 4 tables over here, you just say, come on, guys, we solved this problem many years ago. So when I say when in a minute, I just want you to do like that. Get out of there. Is clear? So everybody, take your positions. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. This is my everyday at work. This is how it feels like. This is when I start a session. I got you over there. I got you. Thank you. And I got you over there. So we may in many ways be in front, but when I work with people in organizations in the front line, this is how we start with that feeling. One topic that have been touched upon several times today is this notion of the unconscious bias. The myth of meritocracy. We all heard it. Well, we only hire the best people in this company. And ironically enough, the woman that called me that I shared in the beginning, I talked to her later and she said exactly that. In this company, we only hire the most competent people for positions no matter the gender. Well, almost, because when it came to us, she wanted the next best. So still, I wonder why they choose a man. But let's see, you still have like 5 minutes to figure that out. I'm going to start a movie in a second here without sound. It is on purpose. There's no sound on it. And warning, it is a commercial. And it's for a product that I'm not related to. I don't really need it. But just, it's just a way of saying what are the biases that is going around in the world, and keep in mind biases can go in all kinds of direction. So let's see if I can start this off. Yeah, it is started. You can just kind of take a glimpse of that while I keep on talking. The unconscious bias, the invisible elephant in the room. The way we kind of label different people And by labeling them in that way, it affects our decisions that we make. When we recruit, when we look for people, when we have the interviews with them, we have unconscious biases. It has been mentioned before today, but I cannot stress this enough. So that is how it is. There's always the unconscious bias in the room. If you got a brain, you got biases. That's as simple as that. So how many in there got a brain in here? Hands up. Yeah, we got at least a few brains. Great, thank you. You got a bias. Yes, Pansene Pro, yeah. Okay, the last thing I'll kind of touch upon are the tools we use in real life to make this change happening. One tool especially is called Lego Serious Play. I know there's somebody from Lego somewhere. A big thank you for developing this tool 18 years ago. I was the first one in the world getting certified in this. I've used it ever since. The great thing about this tool, it is the most gender and cultural intelligent tool I have ever worked with. So I keep on working with it. I don't think that was their intention. It's a strategy tool. So they didn't think of that at that time, I guess. I wasn't part of it. But right now, I use it every time when I work with unconscious bias. So again, just some of the stuff that you need to do in this field. You need to work with different tools. This is my colleague Salman, PhD in psychology. We give him the task to explain cultural intelligence using only 2 pencils. So how do you get across with complex stuff like this? This is my colleague Casper, he's down there somewhere, combining the graphic recording with the research, with a big audience. Again, we need new tools to come across with the messages and engage people and engage men in this agenda here. The last thing about tools is, it's been mentioned several times, we need to have cultures of inclusion. Earlier this week we had a meeting with a company, search and selection company, focusing on finding female candidates, and they were doing quite a good job. But they also said the biggest risk was when these candidates got into a culture that was excluding. So they could be perfect for the job, but some of them would actually fail because they didn't start up in an inclusive culture. So how do we create cultures of inclusion? The way we do it, we have, with support from the Danish Innovation Fund, developed an inclusive leadership program to learn the leaders to have new tools, new knowledge to create these cultures of inclusion. So, to kind of finalize this, there is a future, definitely. And maybe this is not the most diverse group of people we have seen. This is the annual meeting of the Financial Council in Denmark. There's a Danish book called Finn Holger. So if you can find a woman, let me know. There are a few up there. But this is not my point. My point is that what we meet all the time with our clients, there's a lot of men out there willing to make a difference, and probably also here. So don't miss that opportunity of engaging men in this agenda. So they might look like this, they might look like this. I call them men in black. So I think the task is to engage the men in black for this agenda. And maybe that links to why the client in the beginning asked to send a man. I think she knew at least 4 things. First of all, men speaking to men is really powerful in this agenda. It makes a difference to engage in this. The second thing is that men meet less bias. When I'm standing up here, I will meet less bias than if my female colleague was saying exactly the same. So, therefore, some things is easier for me to come across with. Third thing is that you need to recognize that men like me, older, white, privileged man, also have this feeling of being excluded. Because as one person said to me once, every time we talk gender equality and diversity and inclusion, you talk about everybody else but me. So in that sense, if you want to have men engaged in this agenda, you need also to understand what is going on in the stomach of men, what is going on in the heads of the men. Why do they not engage the way we want to? So I think this is, and the last point I think she knew was that that men don't want to be the stereotype version of themselves. So we see a lot of positive energy with the men we work with. They really want to do this. They do not always know how. They feel like walking on eggshells. They have difficulties engaging, but you help them, I help them, and this is a hope I have for the future. So are we there yet? Well, not quite, but we are on the way, so thank you for listening.